Mother, man.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hell yeah. Fucking Murder Metal Mayhem listeners, once again coming at you with a new fucking interview. This time I'm sitting down with the homie Alex McFarland from various bands, most noticeably Krotchripper in this area probably, but so how you doing?
I'm doing great, Joey. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be talking to you and everyone that listens. It's really cool.
Yeah, man. Obviously, in this interview, I'm going to talk Krotchripper and obviously some of your other projects that you've done, you know, in more recent years. But whenever you started, were you doing a band, like a musical band, before Krotchripper?
Many of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what's
they
up.
weren't brutal metal or anything, but I played in various like small jazz combos and like high school rock bands where, you know, even in elementary school we were banging on the drums and trying to play guitar and saxophone and piano.
Right.
To like 2 or 3 of us. We'd always be jamming forever, dude.
Yeah.
It was the thing to do, man. I love music, so.
No, that's awesome. Since I met you, basically, you've been doing Krotchripper, so like that's how I knew initially. So yeah, I never really knew, but of course, obviously I knew you did other instruments and stuff. You did the saxophone on the new Goremonger album for me.
Yeah, that was awesome. I like that track. Thanks for letting me do that.
Yeah, man. So, alright, so since you was doing music before that, how did Krotchripper come about?
It's a long story. You got a little bit of time?
Sure.
Alright. So I was working at Best Buy. I was selling cameras, and my now good buddy Andrew, he's selling printers, and so we're both like selling shit. And I come in there on my day off to get that employee discount, like top shelf metal record from Best Buy, you know. And I came in with a Nile shirt on, and he was like, "Do you like that? Like, you like this shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
No, I just wear the shirt. It's cool.
Yeah. So I was listening to a bunch of like Children of Bodom, Nile. There was a band that was a Best Buy like exclusive. No, it wasn't Best Buy exclusive, but it felt like it because I never see it anywhere else. But it's pretty mainstream. A band called Torchbearer.
Okay.
But anyways, so I was into like not the underground. I didn't even know the underground fucking existed. Like Nile was like the heaviest thing I'd ever heard at the time. So he's like, "Yo, you know, let's hang out. You know, drink some beers, do some other things, and listen to fucking metal and play video games." I was like, "Word, yeah, that sounds cool." So I go out to his house and he's like playing the Internal Suffering and fucking Lividity and you know, just Infernal Revulsion and shit like that, Immortal Suffering, and I'm just like, Abhorrence. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I was like on crack at that point after that, dude, because it was the coolest fucking evil, brutal shit I didn't even know existed that I fell in love with. So he got me turned into collecting CDs and shit. So then I started trying to make metal, and I was like playing it for him, and he's like, "You programmed the bass drum too fast. It's not it's unnatural." I was like, yeah.
Like, you can't be thundering that hard with the fucking bass, bro.
Yeah. But, so then I made that Veins of Ice CD in like 2008, and I made 10 handmade copies where I drew the cover and I scanned it in the computer and printed and then cut them into the shape of the CD. So I made 10 of them, and I have 2, and there's a couple at a local record store in Carbondale, Illinois. They're probably still there.
Yeah.
And a couple of the homies, and then I was moving from Carbondale to back home to the Quad Cities, and my boy Eric, who's the vocalist of Krotchripper, when we were kids, we used to hang out and play music all the time, and he would always make the craziest sounds, like even just like reactions. He'd just be like all the time, and I'm like, Eric, you got this talent to make the noises, bro. Like I was playing him when I was doing with Veins of Ice. I was like, you want to do something a little heavier, and so I started showing him some of the bands that I was getting into, like Lust of Decay and shit like that, and he was just as floored as I was, and we fell in love with the music, so we started jamming and making the Mass Murder Messiah split, which was dope. Just meeting them in person and deciding to just say, fuck it, let's do a split, and we did, and I think it went over really well, and that's kind of how I got started.
Nice. It was just classic too, because then I ended up having you and Mass Murder Messiah out to play my show here in Bloomington. So fuck it, that was cool.
Family reunion, man.
Yeah, man. Real quick bonus question, because I wasn't going to ask you this, but now I'm interested.
Yeah.
When you did the Veins of Ice, how did you do the drums for that?
I did it with a drum program called Reason.
Oh, Reason. Yeah.
And so I had like a bass beat that I would have like a digga digga chicka digga 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 chicka, and I would record music to the digga digga just to the groove, like always singing the groove, and then I would go in afterwards and I would play to the click of that, and then I put the bass beat down and I edit it note by note on the MIDI to try to make it sound like real drums. So I started programming drums at 16 years old, and I made the Veins of Ice, I think I was like 23 or something. So I definitely come a long way, learned a lot, changed programs, but I used Reason to play.
Now you're taking real drum lessons.
Yeah. I quit already.
But you tried.
I learned a lot,
Yeah.
and I just don't have the time to practice like I used to.
But you've got the kit set up. You can go in there
Oh,
and jam.
anytime, yeah, it's right there. So I do jam on at least twice a week, but I should be practicing like an hour a day to get good.
Right. Alright. So continuing on. This will be the second question. Anybody that's listened to my other interviews, I just fucking get 10. I fucking shoot them off the top. We just bullshit. Fucking that's how it comes out. So we're on question 2. Now, Alex, what is the deal with the trolls? Troll grind. Trolls in every sense of the word? Or more specific?
That's what we are. Eric and I, we're just like your mythological Norse trolls that just live under bridges and like pillage villages and rape women and just all the horrible things that trolls do. I mean, we don't do all those things, but like, it's just crazy, man. Trolls, it's just like the underdog of society, like the people that don't want to fuck with a lot of people. They just want to do their own thing and live and, live morally, righteously, consciously, and don't want to cause any harms, like see no evil, do no evil, hear no evil.
So maybe not so much of the raping part.
No, that's just a joke. Yeah, I got a couple beers in me, and
that's why that's how the Goremonger interviews go down. That's why people come here to do these. So you love hanging out in dirty alleys and under bridges.
Yeah. What
are the advantages of inhabiting such areas?
They're delicious. In every sense of the term. It's just, you're chilling in these areas that are just comfortable, you're safe from the world, and you can just, grind and do whatever you need to do.
Right?
Yeah.
One thing I learned from you was piss alleys. Like, I think it was something I always knew what they were because I used Alley, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you, like, specifically, as we're walking, you're like, oh no, this is a good piss alley right here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can tell. I mean, you could smell them half a block away.
Alright, man. So, with Krotchripper, you and Eric ended up going to Europe with Waco Jesus, getting to play over there, which is fucking awesome. Tell me a little bit what that was like, and tell me one crazy-ass thing that you saw while you were over there.
Alright, I got you. It was really cool. For me, I think it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a dream that I thought I would never do, and I was glad that we were able to make it possible with help from, everybody, and it was a blast. It was my first time, like, being in something that was bigger than a car on tour.
Yeah.
For longer than like 4 or 5 days. So that was an experience. Like, we didn't pack very much because we packed all this merch.
Right.
And so we had a couple pairs of socks, a couple pairs of underwear.
Right.
We smelled kind of nasty, and
How long were you guys over there all together?
maybe 2.5 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yep. So it's substantial.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And Eric especially, he was extra smelly. There's a short, like, documentary thing on YouTube about that tour, made by the German band that was on tour with us, Verderver.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes, they go by Eric and I's bunk, and he's holding his nose and waving his hand, pointing at Eric's stall, which is hilarious because, I mean, we were having a good time. We were just trying to live. We were just trolls in our fucking in our element, and so we were just being. We were the trolls of the society,
Even on tour over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And a funny story that happened was at the end of the tour, we were just like sleeping in the airports because we bought the cheapest fucking flights possible.
Yeah.
So we're talking like sometimes it was 4 to 8 hour layovers to 24-hour layovers. And so we're sleeping in the airports like locked in. But one morning, like when we were on our last trip from Europe to the U.S., they had these clear elevators, and we're just laying on our huge bags of merch that we didn't sell, like on our way back, and just sleeping and like being smellier than a motherfucker. And there's these clear elevators, and a couple girls were in there, like hot German chicks, and they get our attention. They're like looking at us and waving, and I'm like, Eric, and I nudge him with my elbow. He's like, I'm like waking up. And then we look at him, and Eric's like putting his glasses on, and they do the same thing. They put their fingers over their nose, and they're like, "P fucking you!" As the elevator's going down, and his glass, and you can see it. They're laughing their asses off, and we're like, "Jesus Christ!"
I mean, that's living right there.
Yeah. So we're trolls in the airport.
Yeah.
That's.
No, that's cool, man. And I definitely saw some people who I fucked with that whenever you guys went over there, fucking, that got to see you guys or whatever, and fucking became like pretty big fans over there.
That's cool.
Of Krotchripper, so.
Hell yeah.
No, that's awesome. Now, you started Troll Tracks, and you've been building your distro up, which is cool. Tell me a little bit about that, and, like what made you want to do it, and how that's going for you.
Well, I'm inspired by everybody in individual ways. Like with the distro, like I was inspired by you because you always had like CDs at the shows, and
Right.
When I was first getting into metal, that was the coolest part of the scene, was going to shows and discovering new bands and having it's out there if you know what you're looking for.
Right.
But if you're just partying and going to a cool show and you want to take home some cool shit, it's awesome to have a selection to pick from.
Right.
And your stuff's really cool how you did that, and it inspired me. And also, I thought if I created a label, then I could release all my music under one thing instead of having like all this stupid social media stuff to like keep track of
Right.
and promote it, and I figured other people would take me more seriously too. So as soon as I had the label thing going, other labels were like trading with me, and so that was really cool too. And that helped me build up the distro, and now I just want to go to as many shows as possible and
Right.
introduce other people to music that I personally picked out everything I traded for.
Right.
So I'm like, this shit is, I like it. There's something about it I like, and there's something that I think a lot of other people like too. So I just want to bring it to everybody.
Yeah. And I will bring it up if any of our listeners checking us out, that fucking got some badass metal shit that you got. Hit up Troll Tracks, hit up Alex, Krotchripper, whatever, and holler at him, because he definitely does trades to get fucking music across different avenues and the network and shit. So
I'm down for it. I'm a little slow to the punch at the business side of things,
Yeah.
but my heart's in it.
no, it's tight. Like I got my buddy Ben out in Nebraska that's drowning in the Platte, cheap porno flick and shit. When he was starting his, he was like, "Man, I know you know some people that got some distros and shit." And so I started fucking I'd send them to you. My boy in Goratorium out in California who does Dismemberment Records. And, all these smaller ones that are fucking out there doing shit just a little more low key. But if you get all them people fucking with each other, that's what's up, Alright, so here's a good question for you. Troll booze and creepy masks. What up with that?
Well, Troll's got a drink. Might as well drink troll booze and put on the mask. They didn't care who I was till I put on the mask. No, the troll masks are dope, because that's like how we feel inside,
Right.
And it's just like, hey, know what you're getting into, society. We're just trolls trying to live, and when the mask comes on, it's like you're fucked up enough that you're just like, you can't hold the mirage of humanity in front of it. That's how I could describe that. Troll booze is just when the city turns into the forest.
Right.
Like the Mirkwood, the Lord of the Rings shit. Yeah, just magical.
Like an urban jungle, but in a different way.
For sure. For sure.
Fucking tasting colors and fucking seeing sounds, bro. Alright, man, fucking. So, you guys as Krotchripper, you have a brand new full length, fucking coming out, available right now. It's sitting in my house, so it's fucking for real. The new Krotchripper full length is here right now.
That's right.
Give me a little info on that and how people can obtain that from you.
Well, just holler at your boy. I got copies.
Are you gonna put it up for digital?
Yeah, it'll be on trolltracks.bandcamp.com and trolltracks.com, or you can email me trolltracksstudios@gmail.com. I'm releasing it under Troll Tracks and partially co-releasing it with Severed Records and Necrotic Records.
Oh, okay, nice.
So you can also get it from Severed online or at a show near you. Necrotic Records, you can get it from him online, or if you're in the St. Louis area, he's down there, so you might be able to catch him at a show.
And what's the name of the new album?
It's called Trolls vs. Lizards. And so we already kind of established what the trolls are.
Right.
And the lizards are just like the Illuminati alien species that's just reptiliacally controlling all these people's brains into doing lizard-ass shit. And trolls fucking hate it. And so, but the album is a concept album, so what it is we got the intro track, and that's just like the spaceship just flying along, and then it comes to like lands, and so the intro is a spaceship landing, and it lands in troll territory. And so the next track is called Bright Light Stops My Munching, which is from the trolls' perspective of what's happening. And bright light stops their munching, they're like, what the fuck is this? And then the lizards like disembark their ship and the trolls get into a scuffle, you know, they fight, and then some of them stow away on the spaceship, and the spaceship takes off, and each track is like a new story about that whole process. And then there's a big fight, and then the spaceship crashes on another planet, and if Krotchripper comes back in 30 years, and then the next album will be what happens on that planet.
So we'll have to stay tuned to see what's up.
Yep.
All right, man. Real quick, shout out your fucking artist.
Brad Moore. Brad Moore fucking rules. BradMooreArtWizard.com. That's BradMooreArtWizard.com.
Oh, yeah.
He's a nasty fucking artist. I feel like he's kind of local too, because I'm up here in the Quad Cities in Illinois, and he lives down in Carbondale, Illinois, which is where I got my original love for underground and learning it. And so I feel like it's really cool to work with him, and I love his art.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got a myriad of other projects too. You got Slop Fountain, Roasted, Toasted, Burnt to a Crisp. You got fucking Super Happy Fun Time, Insidious, Squelch and Penetration, Arachnoid Membrane, Attack from the Toe. I mean, you've done a lot of shit. Give me a little info on some of them, or some that you are currently going to keep, pushing.
Well, I'd like to keep pushing Burn to a Crisp with you, Joey.
Yeah.
I'd like to keep pushing Attack from the Tub and Slop Fountain. And I think Eric is starting to get back into wanting to play and jam a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was talking with him about maybe playing drums and having him play guitar and play some cool shit. We jammed a few times. It was dope.
Hell yeah.
But a lot of those projects, like, I couldn't make another Krotchripper sounding thing. It just wasn't the same thing. And then
right.
I would just hit record and play music, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like that, so I have to call it something different. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be another 10 random ones that don't sound like any of the rest.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you should call something the same band if they drastically change their style.
No, I agree with that, too. Alright, I asked this question to everybody. It's cooler because you're doing it off the cuff.
Alright, let's go.
5 Desert Island albums that you just cannot live without.
Forensic by Mortal Decay. Serenadium by Iniquity. Any of the early Panzerchrist albums. Antithesis by Origin.
Hell yeah.
And either Blessed or the Sick or Gateways to Annihilation by Morbid Angel.
Nice. Yeah, that's a tough one. Like I said, usually I give the people the question beforehand so they fucking got it second, but yeah, that's tough. Like, if people ask me that too, and I'm like, I might be able to tell you my favorite band off the top or something like that, but...
Yeah, but listening to it on an island forever...
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, man, so we made it to the fucking end right here. Fucking... this is going to be my last question for you.
Alright.
This was specifically for you.
Alright.
You have a delectable palate. You love squid chips,
Yes.
random meats,
Yep.
year-old naturally weathered beer,
Absolutely.
and rotten fungus. What is a troll's preferred meal?
Depends on what's available. It could be beer. It could be fucking cigarettes that we found in the ashtray. Whatever. Mostly beer and nicotine.
And nicotine. Yeah. Nice, man. Well, hell yeah, Alex. I really appreciate you coming out, hanging out at my fucking house, and doing this little interview.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
For Young Murder Metal Mayhem podcast. Do you have any last words? You want to fucking shout out anything? Or?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I want to thank you and the whole podcast team and everyone out there listening and everyone that's ever supported me or said what's up or had a cool conversation or been at a fucking Brutal Death show and is out there supporting. I want to give all y'all shout outs. everyone that's been on the podcast, past and future. And shout out, good luck to Joey in your move to the other side of the Midwest.
Fuck yeah. Alright, Alex.
Is that okay?
Fuck yeah.
Mother, man.